all stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So roll call in attendance, we have Bob, Ed, Carol, and myself, and Doug is running a few minutes late. I need a motion for approval of the final agenda.
Madam Chairman, could we add an agenda item being the 2026 budget? And specifically, I'd like to go to the email that Laura sent all of us about the 3 options for the for the
reserve.
Yes, about the reserves and the 3 options. And I'd like to have some discussion about how the board feels about each one of those options.
Where would you want to add it? And yes.
Well,
Only
any
place is 9E.
suggestions?
Okay, you don't have to hit anything, Tony.
Just talk, they're voice activated.
Okay, my only comment is, I think from the standpoint, since the budget hearing's at 6, any discussion the board has now should also be conducted at the time of the budget hearing, because a lot of people may not be here now that want to review and comment, and also on the board discussion on that. So I think having it twice.
Well, I don't think that those 3 options had been on any agenda previously. And so I think we should look at them and discuss them as a board.
I think what he's saying is if we do it now, no big deal, but we have to
gotta
have
do
the
it
same
again.
discussion again at 6 o'clock.
Got to do it
And that's
twice.
not a problem.
That's what he's saying, right?
Yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah, having it twice is not
Yeah.
a problem, but just want to make sure that the public has an opportunity that would not be here. It's not going to be here until 6 to comment on it at the budget
Right.
hearing. So doing it twice is
Do
great.
you want to do it as
Fine.
11B?
Yeah, that's what it should be, 11B.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we do it 11B?
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me. All right, so then I need a motion.
I'll
So
second
make it,
that.
yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion by Carol, second by Ed. All in favor, say aye.
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 Do we need a motion to accept Doug and due to exceptional
Well,
circumstances?
he's not online.
He's not on.
Oh, he's not online.
No.
Well, then we'll reject him.
So, public comment.
I have one just from Rod Senior. He won't be able to be here for the public hearing, so he would like to make his comments at this time.
Yeah, and then you make his comments part of the record at the public hearing.
Yes,
I
we
think
will
would be
read it back,
appropriate.
or reiterate, I guess.
If you have something you're going to read off of and you want to leave it with me, I can reread it during the public hearing.
Scribbled all over it, but I will send you a copy.
Okay,
Perfect.
and then, yeah, I can read that during the hearing then.
Excuse me for my clumsiness.
I haven't started your time yet.
Please,
so you're
yeah, thank you.
good.
I'm clumsy today.
Casual Thursday, Rod.
Gotcha. Right. Rod Senior, Gateway Greens. 2 meetings ago, I distributed this handout, which shows 2% Lee County inflation in their taxes, compared with our increase from $806 in 2023 to $1,308 in 2026, which is 17% compounded each year. Your stated goal 2 meetings ago was to reduce the 13% high water mark down to 10%. But 10% is simply not okay. It's way above 2.5% CPI. I oppose the latest 2023 bond of 55 million bond, of which you've already issued 11.7 million. I think you've been spending excessively on the new admin building. $17 million has already been spent on pond bank restoration. These 2 debt service items alone are $312, which is 25% of our total assessment of $1,308. And it's growing to $351 in 2027. Here's a suggestion. Stephen Bloom's a good guy. Why don't you think about using him as a financial controller instead of an accountant? The difference being, of course, the financial controller controls you before you spend it, as opposed to an accountant who tells you after it's too late. Tell them you want to keep your spending growth to 2% going forward and to keep you in check every month. That way you'll be facing the residents next year with a pleasing 2% increase plus 3% debt service, which is what it is. That's 5% instead of 10%. Going forward, please look for ways to save money and generate revenues. Landscaping. Why do we only have one bidder for a $900,000 cost centre? Pond bank restoration. Are you looking for less expensive methods for doing this other than Armamax and stone? Gateway Commons. How about a user fee model for all the facilities up there that are growing? Pickleball, I'm sure you're going to charge people to use it. So at the same time, charge people for using the pool. It's a good opportunity to do that. Now Pelican Preserve are paying towards this. I think you should be interested in doing that. Sherman Soccer Complex, you're currently getting 150,000 a year rent out of the $500,000 it's costing us to maintain it. But the end user fees paid by the families of these 800 kids and the GSA, for example, are not coming to the district. They're going to the GSA. We just get rent. The GSA annual user fee is $350 a year. So how about us getting involved in some of that revenue? Here are different ideas for this business model. Form a joint venture with the users, mainly GSA and...
2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, can you give me one more minute?
Flavia.
Go ahead. Rod.
I'll try and rush through this last minute. Suggestions. Form a joint venture with the end users like flag football and the GSA. Or have the district hire a sports director and do it ourselves so we get the user fees. How about we broaden our amenities to include softball, lacrosse, running track, etc., to get more gateway homes involved? Right now, it's only 5% of homes who will have kids that live here. Reduce the service level back to 2 fields like it was in 1998, or transfer ownership to Lee County and don't give up on that because it's the right thing to do. Finally, I'll just say this sentence. Everything in those days when we started this, and you remember, Tony, the days of Lee Menzies and Jim Ward, all this was driven by Roger Sherman, who was the CSA guy. He was the CSA, wasn't even on the board. Everything was driven by him as the sole master user. The tail was wagging the dog, and I think that that's what's happening today, and I think the district should take a control of this $500,000 we're blowing on this facility and think of a better way to do it.
Thank you, Rod.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Local achievements, do you have anything?
I just want to call out, Randy did receive just this week his Florida Certified Contracts Manager certification. That was a free course that was offered by the state. And so as part of his rewriting job duties last year, that was one that we wanted to make sure we push our employees to expand their skills. So.
All right, so advisory committees and items to report. We have.
Note that Mr. Banks is here.
I talked with him.
I did. I already did.
I gotta go stand in the corner for 15 minutes.
Sun's cap.
Nose against the wall.
All right, Prac.
They haven't met, but there is the back to school bash this Saturday from, I think it's 10 to 2. It will be at the pool. We'll have, oh, there we go. Sorry. Yep, perfect. And Prac, I think they'll start meeting next week. They'll start reconvening. They took a summer hiatus like most of our advisory committees do. So.
Any questions on Pelican Preserve report? No? Okay.
It
Approval.
was very comprehensive.
Approval of minutes.
So moved on agenda item 8A, B, C, and D.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Consent agenda.
Move on to consent agenda items 9A, B, C, and D.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on consent agenda items 9A, B, C, and D. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
And we,
District engineer.
Eric.
Stephen Agapi is online.
Eric's on too.
Good afternoon, everyone. Stephen Agapi, Tetra Tech District Engineer. For the task authorization update, irrigation pump station generator. The concrete pad was poured last week. It's reached sufficient strength, and they're tentatively planning to install the diesel storage tank next week with FDEP and Lee County on site. They're also working on electrical improvements. The irrigation and force main improvement project, we received word last week that SRF did approve that project for SRF funding. However, we are still working through HMGP grant application for a portion of that project. So until we hear back from HMGP, that project's on hold right now. But the good news is we do have the option to use SRF funding for the entire project.
Stephen, pause right there for a second. So you may have noticed on our website, it was posted today. We are this close to receiving that HMGP funding. Because it is federal funding, we had to do a 15-day notice, a public notice seeking any feedback response. So that's posted on our website and also in our office. We are hoping to get, I think it's a little over $3 million on that grant. It does require a 25% match. They don't fund the irrigation side of that project, which is why we pursued the SRF, but we are looking to have the sewer completely funded. So,
What's the HMGP mean?
Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. It's the same one that we applied for the Pelican Ponds. 25% local match.
All right, Stephen.
All right, Lower Hawthorne Well, that project is wrapping up. I think the only thing we need left there is sod, some minor work on the above ground piping, and then we can close out permits. So that should be removed from this project list at the next meeting. Gateway's utility storage building, that project is wrapping up also. There's minor punch list items, and we're closing out permits also. FY24 lakes, these ones are nearing completion. There's a couple of items on each of the lakes that MRI has to do as part of the punch list, and we can close those out. FY25 lake bank construction management, these ones are also wrapping up with minor punch list items. Lake bank restoration HMGP, we are in preliminary design of this project. This is grant funded. The Public Works building relocation, Eric's on right now, but from my understanding is we're working through design right now, and then we're going to be moving into permitting. The Gateway Commons Park and Admin Building, the contractor is working on the foundation and footers. They are also working on site grading and sanitary sewer in different parts of the project. The F2A bulk meter assembly is complete. All the punch list items have been wrapped up, so we're closing that one out. CCTV sewer, the contractor has inspected approximately like 98% of the sewer mains, and we've reviewed almost all of those. We're still waiting for them to complete the manhole inspections. The CCTV storm project, that contractor is still has a lot of work left to do, but we're reviewing the information as we get it. As for development updates, Harborwood Phase 3, the contractor has asked us to go check some of the punch list items this week, which we will be doing. Daniels Parkway Apartments, they resubmitted their 5th submittal, which we are currently reviewing right now. I'm going to skip Santa Luz for a second. Garrett FM is still, they're in vertical construction right now, as everyone can see. Utilities are getting to the end. They're working on lift station. And for Santa Luz, Chelsea or Tony, do you want to give the board an update on this project?
Yeah, it's a brief update. We received a response today from the council for Lennar US Home. We've not yet had a time to digest and analyze it. We're having a staff team meeting tomorrow to go over that. Then we'll make recommendations to the board and or responses back.
And that's all I have.
Any questions for?
I think I had one other item, but it might have been on the consent agenda. Hold on a second.
Good, it was approved.
Only
Okay,
question
good
I had was, I thought the project down there on the apartments, I think it's Garrett, I thought that building was 5 stories. It's only 4.
No, I'm pretty
It
sure.
says
it's
the
all-
257, correct? Because I recall, because I thought it was strange, I'd never heard of a
250 I think it's
5-story.
256. I'm
256,
pretty sure it's 256.
but it's only 4 stories.
Five units, 4, Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong, 5 buildings, 4 stories, 256
Because
units.
I was of the opinion it was 5 stories high, and it ain't 5 stories high. It's
Could
only
could that
4.
be related to the collapse over in Miami, that when you get above certain height?
Well, this is even more, well, this one won't have that structural deal with concrete because there ain't no concrete.
It's gonna be
It's all
wood.
wood.
Wood, yeah. Termites.
No, it might be tied into,
I don't even think they're willing to eat
There
that.
there might be a lot of toothpicks over there in Lehigh when the wind blows it away, but.
it might be tied into fire code requirements. When you hit a 75-foot level, you have different fire suppression and sprinklering, et
There's
cetera,
issues, yeah.
requirements.
Well, I was just
When you hit
surprised.
75, that's when it changes.
I saw them going up, but when they got to 4, they started to put the roof gables on. I thought, this isn't going 5. Okay.
Anything else for Stephen?
No.
Nope.
Nothing, okay.
Hey, Stephen.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Hey, Steve.
Thank you. District manager items.
Nope, you skipped over admin.
I did?
Yep.
I made a bunch of notes on it and skip on it. Okay.
Oh. So this first one, I wanted to bring it in front of you for your decision. We have connection fees that are tied to the admin building. Obviously, if we process these, the enterprise fund will be paying itself 59%, Pelican would be paying 14%, and then the general fund would be paying the 27%. So we did pay the fees to the county, which I think those were a couple $1,000s. But these are mainly for sewer, irrigation, and potable. And I wanted to know if you wanted to waive those fees for our own project, or if you wanted me to charge it to the project itself.
I don't know if I want to start waiving fees. We have a policy, and if we have to pay as a deal, we pay.
I concur.
Okay.
I agree with that, too.
I just wanted to be clear. All right, perfect. We will process accordingly. Thank you.
Are we going to have other connection fees
No.
other than the building?
There are no
They're
other,
all there included,
Yeah,
right? They're all
yeah.
included.
I mean, any of the other park amenities going to have bathrooms or something that we'd have to have other connection fees?
no, all of that's tied into the water and sewer connection fees here.
Okay, okay.
It mainly ties to how many meters you have in ERUs. 11B, we have the items, the budget.
Yes. I asked that this be put on here. Laura had sent to all of us an email outlining 3 options that could be used in the 2026 budget. We as a board have not had opportunity to discuss these prior to the public hearing tonight and then the final adoption of the budget at some point this evening. So I was wondering what the thoughts are of my fellow board members about each of these 3 options.
Carol, would you like Laura to briefly go over each option, or?
Yes, could you?
Okay.
Okay, so the first one with the yellow, what I did is the board had originally said that they wanted to fund the reserves at a total of $279,000, which is the same as what we did for fiscal '25. So I played around with the numbers. This is, as it stands, this first count under 0. So this is without doing anything. This is funding reserves at $279,000, no offset, no carry forward. If we were to use the $140,000, because I was tasked to get it under 10, so I figured 9.9 is under 10, so I got it to 9.9.
There's a little bit difference between the email and this. Numbers.
Huh?
See the emails, I have it's slightly different than what we see.
That was 150 point.
I do too. This is.
So it went down. What did you
I probably
update?
changed it. All right.
This is what's.
I just need to know
This
which one.
is
It went-
12.1 on the screen and this is 12.7 on the email.
What did you
And
reduce?
it's 9.4 over here.
Like
and
there's
it's,
a
what,
reduction in
9.4
everything.
there.
What you're showing is more favorable.
Yeah, I
But-
just want to know which
but-
one it is.
We need to know.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Street sweeping. Was that the big
Oh,
difference?
we did the street sweeping after that, yeah.
That's why. So we went back and double checking. Bob had requested that we look at potentially leasing or procuring a street sweeper. It's not the value that would cost to what we pay. It's not worth it. But as part of that, it triggered, hey, we need to double check that number in the budget. And so
The budget incorrectly listed the contract price at $47,000 for the year for Gateway, and it's actually only 11. So that was $36,000 less, yeah.
Good job, Bob. You saved us almost 30 grand. Indirectly, but.
I do have the most recent one, which I'll pull up all my live files during the meeting, but since this was in the agenda packet, but the concept is the same regardless. They're close within with tenths of a percent. So that was the yellow one. So then I did, just to try to get it around like 9.5.
So you're saying that of the 279 in reserves, if we take 170,
No, this would be fund the reserves,
79. I think that-
take 170,000 out of the capital reserves or the carry forward or something. So we're still going to fund the reserves at 279,000 and use, so basically you're taking it out of one pocket and putting it in the other, but we would fund the reserves at 279. Sound familiar, Bob? And then put 140,000 of the carry forward to help offset. Or the same, if we did 170,000 of carry forward, it would reduce it down to about 9.4.
You explained it better than I did.
And then this is the same concept here.
Can I just ask you one question?
Yep.
And I may have missed this. What is the total carryover?
Don't know.
But
That would be a
did we
Stephen
have
question. That would be a Stephen
we
question.
have, so the FY24 was like 1.1, but we had to remove the, what do we call it? The unrealized projects.
Yeah.
So we removed that. I think we were at like 800
800 and something.
from there. And then this current fiscal year, we have very, very like $30,000 foot view, maybe what, 800?
Maybe, yeah. But there's still, Stephen worked up, the
you're
copy
going the
Stephen
same
worked
place I
up.
was going.
Still a big
What's
chunk
the
of
total
money.
available?
I called
Yeah,
and told them, I said, I'll vote for this and go with it with one stipulation. And that is the first thing that comes out of the retained earnings. I hate using the word carryover. The retained earnings is it's dedicated back to repay this.
Well,
First
it just
thing,
automatically goes back to capital reserve. Is that
it's
what you're
paid
saying?
in by
Yeah.
the people, it goes back to the people.
I agree with that.
So moving on.
Okay, so the blue is same concept, except I funded the reserves only at $100,000 instead of $279,000. And then went for the same target to get it down to just under 10 and then at 9.4. But it also reduced the assessments without making any changes, obviously, because that's $179,000 less that we were going to assess. So that dropped the regular number right there. And then the last one would be to put nothing in reserves. And I tried also, since we started out at 9.6, I went down to 9 and then 8.5. And that would be what we would need to use. And so to Ed's point, if we were to use carry forward, we would just skim these numbers right off the top for 26 and that would just go in from there. So the 40 or whatever dollar amount you guys decide that you want to do, that would just come right off the top.
So
I had some residents ask me, they saw that 4% deal. And I don't think what they understand is that the county, when you pay, if you pay early, you're subject to a 4%. Well, what if 50% of Gateway doesn't pay early? Well, what they don't realize is that is going to essentially go to a retained earning.
Correct.
And that's why I say I have no problem with doing this. I think it's a good idea, but with the stipulation that when we get that retained earning in, it supplements that we took out. Not higher, but equal to.
Can you go back up to option 1? So 270 is the funding reserve. Then we will leverage the carry forward. What's the 170 was that number?
I
That's
just
a-
pulled it to try to get it to like 9.5%.
So but my point is, there's no threshold on that number on the 170 other than what you just decided.
Just pick the number.
Yep,
So-
I just tried to get it close to 9.5% increase as I could. I
And-
actually
You could
calculated
pick
it all the
160
way.
or 150 or 180.
I calculated it
Or
all the way out to
300,
like,
Or
yeah.
400.
Yep.
Well, how close does the 270 come to what the last study we had suggested?
It's still less.
Minimum.
I know, it's below
Flat-
what they were
flat minimum.
suggesting.
Very much
That's,
below.
that's my point.
Bare
I mean,
bones.
Even at 270, we're not,
Very much.
no, we're not, we ought to be a lot higher. Now, if we could routinely take the carry forward monies and put it in, well, then the yearly contribution would be a heck of a lot better. Because we got to get those reserves up. I mean, we really need to do that.
Considering we spend them throughout the year.
Okay. Well, that's my deal on it, is I'm not opposed to doing this, just with the understanding that you stop kicking the can down the road, put the money back in. And like you said, the money we're putting in
It's paltry.
and doing is a pittance to begin with.
Yes.
So I will
Well,
caveat,
and do you like yellow, blue, or green?
I don't care.
They're pretty much all
Doesn't
the
make any
same.
difference. They're all.
I mean, I'm fine with yellow.
Yeah, so am I.
The yellow seems to be the simple way.
Yeah. I mean, my only point was,
And Flavia, you feel that
Same
way too?
thing. Is that enough? Instead of looking at percentages, should we be looking at dollars?
See, that was a conversation that I had
That's
with
what I'm
Chelsea.
looking at.
We're so focused on percentages, and
Instead of looking at dollars.
10% of $1 million is a lot more than 10% of $100, but it's still 10%. So, you know, everyone's so focused on the percents, and I think we should look at the, but,
That's what I
That's
would
just
look
me.
like look into.
but it's your call.
Because
So-
it's not enough. We know that. And I think we should look at the dollar, not at the percentage.
so I will
Well-
caveat that this, to make all of this work with the $140,000+ carry forward, will require us to use some of the interest earnings on the capital stuff for the capital projects,
Bond.
the
Yeah.
bonds. So whatever capital earnings, interest earnings we've made off of those monies sitting in that bank
But in
account.
that tide,
Yes.
They
it
have
has
to be used to
tied.
construction, yes.
so to me, and this carryover is an interesting thing, unrealized. So normally what happens is we go through this budget and we come up with a number. And then post, we understand what the unrealized or the, and that just becomes additional funding dollars that we didn't earmark most of the times. We don't earmark, and it just becomes like almost a slush fund.
Piggy bank,
Yeah,
right.
piggy bank. Is that, and I'd love to get Stephen's input on this, is that the most physical responsible thing to do? Or is there a way, because basically that dollars becomes, it impacts the next physical year's budget. So we're able to spend and reduce costs on that forward year. But what we're trying to do is fund for next year and manage the assessment today, or, you know, in that. So we want to get this as low as we possibly can. So are we doing the correct, are we following the correct procedure with unrealized earnings being pushed to the next fiscal year? Or should we be looking to offset the next year's budget in more of a formal process? So, you know, if that number is, let's just 170, what's stopping us from raising that to 300 or 4 and putting that money back into the budget? I know we don't have that number specifically, but I just don't know what's best.
what's bothering me is that we're sitting here getting a headache over $2 a week.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Well, but
ridiculous.
But it's optics, you know, it's really what we're managing to right now is just,
What I would suggest is if you choose to do the yellow, one of the things that we have not, in the general fund, have not leveraged as much as Pelican has in their fund is stacking investments and T-bills and having them come, you know, earn money over time. You could take this money and we invest it, we don't put this much in, but Pelican does a lot more and they've made money over the years. This could be an investment that you could say, whatever we incur, we want to use to offset costs in the
And
future.
when I said optics, I didn't mean that in a belittling way. I mean, because every dollar means something to people. All of us up here too pay assessments, and we'd like our assessment to be as low as possible.
I don't think it's so much the dollars. I think it's that, what Laura said, it's that percentage. It just scares people, 12%, 9%, but when you do it back, what is it, $2 a week?
Yeah.
Like, give me a break. Some of these people smoke that in a day.
When Chelsea had talked about interest, I'm looking at just in the general fund bond account, so far through, I think it was through the end of July, we have a little over $1 million in interest that we've earned. So that's money that we
This
can
past year,
use
last year,
to
did really well.
pay for projects.
Yeah, did really well.
Bond
Market
projects.
helps, but
Yeah.
Well, my thing is, take it to the people, do what Carol wanted to do, is at least get everybody's comment, but I think everybody's on the same page.
Yeah. I mean, again, I know some people would argue that
Okay, so we like yellow.
Yellow, I think.
yellow
Do
at the
we like
170.
140 or 170?
I like the 170.
Just go to
170?
again,
Okay,
Surely, again, I'll say from an optics perspective, I like 9.4 even better than 9.9, even though it's a percentage, not the dollar. You're only talking about a couple bucks, but love for it
so
to be
Laura,
even
do you need to make
8.4.
changes in your paperwork for the public hearing then?
Those I can do on the fly. So, yeah.
Well, in between, if
Yeah.
this meeting convenes
Right.
early, or if we recess early, she can do those.
so if we
Okay.
do that and we take this option, the Gateway Single Family total will drop from 1306 by 11171, is that correct?
It'll go,
So what, when at 1306
and
before
I'm
we started
opening
this?
out my budget. Give me just a second. I think it was like 150, I want to say. Well, it would have been 144.51 going down to 111, so it was like $33.
1345.22 was the assessment before we started this.
Right.
So what we're saying is that will be deducted by 11171. So we're now down to 1233.
I have the $100,000, and so I have to go back and change the reserves.
We'll
My
have
point
to
is
crunch
that
that.
everybody just got their taxing deals. So they're going to be adding their tax. Carol even brought hers, adding their tax and adding this number. And that's what we're going to be hearing tonight is that I'm at $6,000, I'm at $8,000. You're going to hear it. It is what it is.
Yeah, but we don't have any influence over the other.
Yeah, and again, what I would suggest is that this detailed discussion occur at the budget hearing also, where Laura
Absolutely.
or Chelsea can introduce the topic, and then Carol can raise the question she raised, and if Chelsea and Laura want to sort of do a brief summary as to what was discussed and what the considerations were, and the board can further discuss it for the benefit of the public and what the impacts are, just so that they can have a full opportunity to comment on it.
The problem is, Tony, that 99% of the community is not going to have a clue what you're talking about carry forward.
I understand, but I think it's important, again, for those who are going to attend, so they understand how they can comment on the budget.
I think what we're doing is saying is we're taking your money and we're giving a part of it back, but that's left over at the end of the year, we're going to use it to replenish what we gave you back. It's that simple.
Just a couple other things while Laura's crunching her numbers. Just a couple of the changes. I'm going to go over them real quick while you're doing that. From the last time you saw it to what was posted in the budget. The street sweeping, we mentioned that went down to $11,000. We took the employee funding that you said for me to look at how to address employees and merits and things like that. We reduced that to $75,000. It was 100. We took that down to 75. The auditor, where we had the insurance issue, the Grau and Associates, the second auditor was a little bit more expensive than the one that we had originally went, so we had to adjust that line item. And then, like I mentioned earlier, about using the interest earnings to help offset the costs for the capital projects that we have underway. So those are the four really big things. And then obviously Pelican made their opinion on and recommendation, so any of those edits were incorporated as well.
And you'll repeat all this at the budget hearing.
Of course.
Please. Thank you.
Yes, Laura actually will.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to hear discussion.
District manager items.
We have have the monthly reports. So with that, Laura's up first for admin?
Anybody have, Bob? Nothing?
I asked them to stop giving us the timesheets until we have the discussion about what we really should be doing. What we're getting is wasting everybody's time, my opinion.
Anything for admin? Anything for public works?
Yeah, the only thing I had was that Paul called me this morning, and he and the contractor vendor was out going along at least the golf course, looking at that, and that was very satisfying to know that at least that's going to be taken care of. I think it just comes back to the issue, though, that why does it always continue that we have to put out a fire? We need to be watching these vendors. They're not doing their job.
We are, Ed. I think this one was the timing where we had opened the weirs a week or so ago. The water levels were higher. They dropped down and exposed everything that was under the water.
It makes it look a lot worse, that's for sure.
Exactly. So you want to go ahead, Paul?
Yes, lowering the water level did, put some highlight to the issue, but I'm with you. We'll manage the contractor a lot more aggressively, I guess, and just try to keep tabs as far as their performance and making sure that they're doing what we expect of them as well.
But I do appreciate you and Rod reaching out and bringing those items to our attention.
And then the other item I did get from a couple of residents in the community is that they're a little bit smarter than I gave them credit for. They're seeing that we're reducing the water level. And I said, what's that bubbling at the weir? And I said, that's the reducing the water level. Their question was, and they're getting the reality that when you take the water level down a foot, it goes out 4 feet. And if you're on a 6-to-1 slope, it goes out 6 feet. Yeah. And now all of a sudden it's panic. Are we going back and heading back to August, or not August, earlier summer, to where the ponds were down to where you could walk across them?
April, May time.
They don't want that, so they're petrified. But to tell them that, hey, there's hurricanes coming, the last thing we want to do is to be at control elevation and have a hurricane, because we have no place to put the water.
That's exactly
You're right.
right.
Our people are noticing the same thing.
But they're
water level
noticing
starts
the water
dropping.
levels going down, so I guess
We
the
get
question
cold.
is to what level are we going? Are we just going to go 1 foot below control and that's it? Or are we going to take it down more than that?
We're just honestly watching the radar, the conga line of storms that are out there, and trying to reduce, any scare. Just 2 weeks ago, Sanibel had 12 inches of rain in 12 hours on a random Sunday.
People do not understand that.
Mother Nature's been strange this year, but.
Well, I know.
The water's missing us.
I know we
rains are
did the
missing
drop
us.
and we were going to be measuring how much we could get out, how quickly. If we determined that if you drop it 50%,
We're still working on that calculation.
okay.
We'll share that with the board, but give us some time.
Well, it was pretty effective, Bob, because
Well, I thought so too.
We were at control, and it dropped about a foot down pretty quickly.
It was over two and a half,
surprising.
2-3 days.
Yeah.
People noticed it in Pelican right away
Well,
also.
But it was only-
Everyone's looking.
But the key to that, we were only halfway open.
Right. We didn't go all the way down,
Yeah.
but it was a control test to see what you got, what's the benefit for dropping it 50%, 75, whatever.
My point was that the people are watching it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They're watching it.
And we didn't do Pond 38, and we probably need to do an independent check there also, since that's our one area of vulnerability.
Yeah.
Okay, the only other thing I had for Paul was a question. I know we're trying to get the mold off of the bridge between Prado and Pistoia, and I understand there were some challenges to doing that from an environmental point of view, that we don't mix chemicals in the flowway, et cetera. Have we made any progress on just taking the water from the flowway, putting it through a pump and blasting it that way?
I'm still working on that, and I do apologize. I should have had a status or a better status for today, but it's still a work in progress on my part. I do apologize for
And
that.
dropping the weirs brought it back up again. I got calls again. Hey, you said you were going to do that, have you? So yeah, I would appreciate some follow-up.
Without a doubt.
And I didn't see it on the list, so.
Work on it.
Looking good to me.
All right. Anything else for Paul? No? All right.
Oh,
And
one question. How how are our inspections, I already hit Billy on this because he was out in the neighborhood. How are our inspections going relative to storm sewer TVs, cameras? Are we getting any surprises of damages or long-term problems that we got to fix on our storm sewer system?
On the stormwater, yes, we've identified one major issue that we're trying to, Tetra Tech is reviewing the video, also what can be done to make those repairs. But there's only one major one that's I'm a little concerned
Where's
about.
that at?
The village of Stony Brook, yes. The village of Stony Brook, I'm sorry.
They have.
One of the inlets is have a water infiltration into one of the inlets, and it's pretty substantial, or it's concerning on our part.
Infiltration into a storm sewer.
From groundwater, yes, that's correct.
Fractured pipe or cracked pipe or something.
It's just a seam that needs to be probably resealed.
I would be a
And
little bit
some
more concerned
improvements.
about that if it was into a sanitary sewer, but into a storm sewer, it's where the water ends up anyway.
Don't you worry, Bill's got his handful of those.
Yeah, but you get sediment too. That's the other
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
it.
you get some-
But outside of that, there's some minor issues here and there, but things that are manageable.
So we haven't had any disaster surprises.
No,
Great.
knock on wood, that's
Great,
correct.
Great.
Are we 100% inspected now by CC?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No, we just started that a few months ago, and the weather's been the biggest delay on that part. So we're hoping to kind of regain some grounds during the dry season.
The Pelican experience was when you checked it, it really doesn't move or change much if you keep your catch basins clean.
That helps.
Yes.
Okay,
All right,
Thank you.
Paul. All right, anything for Mr. Shaw?
I already picked his brain earlier this week.
He caught me on the street.
Oh, man.
Although we had one that we found out there that he came out, and thank God the guys, when they come out, when I call and I have a problem, boy, they're there instantly. We got to watch this because I talked to my landscaping people. They didn't touch that. But what it is we got a blow-off valve on our irrigation system. And the other day, the water was pouring out of that thing like crazy. So somebody had been into that green box, which is on our side of the meter, and had turned that little, 2-inch?
So, half inch.
Half inch?
Yeah.
It's on 2-inch line.
It's on comes off of a 2-inch line.
And
Yeah.
turned that valve, and when you turn that valve and that thing activates and is under pressure, a hell of a lot of water comes
water.
out, and it was flooding the area. So I'd never heard of that happening as long as I've been here, that anybody was first smart enough to even know what the hell it was, let alone to go in and operate it.
Right.
But the guys
So-
found it and problem solved, but it could have been a lot worse.
Someone had to go in there and turn it on. It
Somebody
doesn't
had to turn it on.
itself.
You need to monitor it?
No, well, we need some fire ants and we'll stick them inside that pit. Next time they'll get bit.
Just give us a list of what pitch you do that to ahead of time, please. So we can be prepared.
Anything for,
Put a piranha inside that pit.
anything for Bill?
Well, same question, and he already told me, but
Yeah,
we
so on
had
the-
a sanitary sewer, I guess, issue on the cameras that came up down around
Down around the
FBI building.
the south roundabout, the FBI
Again,
building
it
area.
doesn't sound like we have any major issues, which, you take a sanitary sewer system that's been in the ground 30, 35 years like we've got, and you're not finding anything.
We just started.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, that's pretty daggone good.
Stage 1, so,
That's
yeah.
pretty good.
So-
With our,
That's good news.
So-
our ground, it's not real firm.
So they're in the 90%, 94% of the review. So we're getting close to getting our full report back and
Recommendation.
recommendations
For repairs.
for repairs. And so hopefully we'll have that by the next, board meeting or the following month after
And
that.
then just real quick on the Stony Brook Master Lift Station Odor Control Unit.
That unit has been replaced. The new one, the larger one is in place. We had a data logger hanging in the discharge of the new unit for the last, I believe, 10 days. We got a preliminary report yesterday that it has read 0 hydrogen sulfide in the discharge of that unit. for the entirety of the time that it had been there.
Spitballing here.
So no more smell.
For now, yes. We
Oh,
believe so.
for now.
For now,
Other day in the paper, there was an interesting article. 147, as I remember, $147 million. City of Fort Myers was talking about putting in direct injection to be able to pump 15, 18, 20 million gallons of water a day, 1,000 feet into the ground. We're sitting here withdrawing water out of our community. And why wouldn't they want to pump that water that they want to pump into the ground, which is very expensive? Pump it over here and put it into our wastewater treatment plant and solve our problem. So they've been treated.
it depends on what that water is. First, because I
My only
know,
question is somebody looking at that? Why are you taking a valuable commodity, which right now we're, what, 40%, 50% relying on groundwater?
this past month.
We could take that water, put it into our
45%.
wastewater treatment plant and stop withdrawing water out of the community, and they would stop injecting water into the community. I thought I saw about 5, 6, 8 years ago, there was an 18-inch or a 24-inch force main coming out 82. Where the hell was that thing going? I thought that was an irrigation line. Why couldn't it be converted to a line that you just pump treated water out here to our treatment plant?
That would be something that we would have to talk to
pose
the
the
city
question
of Fort Myers
the
about.
county.
Not sure.
the city.
If I was
The
city of Fort
counties.
Myers, I'd be looking at that as an option to get rid of, or better yet, pump it across the Caloosahatchee into the Cape where they need it. But pumping it into the ground is just,
Well, when
I don't
they
get
built
that at
that
all.
line that you're talking about, Ed, one of the things that was supposed to happen is Pelican was supposed to be using it. We're not, we're 8 years later, it's still not anywhere near connected to it.
That's even another
But in
alternative.
the
is since
future-
you're in the
yeah,
city,
but in the
pump that
future, it's-
water out and dump it into one of your lakes.
In the future, it's supposed to be happening. I don't know when, we don't have a date. We've talked to them a couple of times
But in the
about it.
meantime, they're going to spend $147 million.
I know some of the
Somebody's
water that gets injected
screw loose.
doesn't meet the requirements to be able to be reused. And that's why it gets deep well injected, because that way it's gone. So,
I just sat there and looked at it, and I thought, man, I don't know who's giving them engineering advice, but they must have got their license at Sears. That just
Sears
does
out of
not make
business.
sense at all.
right.
Point made. All right, any other questions for Mr. Shaw? All right,
Okay,
thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Where are we at, Disney World?
Yeah, who's popping the weasel?
We're going to have, that's Ferrer Jacques.
Thought it was Small World.
Isn't that Ferrer Jacques? We're having French lessons.
Carol looked guilty.
That was me.
So we're all done with monthly reports?
Yes.
District Attorney.
If you could blow that up a
Yep,
little
I'm
larger,
working on
please.
it.
Thank you, appreciate it. I'll go through the ones that I think we have some time for getting items done. Again, the utility software agreement termination provisions, we still haven't finalized that, to my knowledge, correct? Or have we?
Yeah, we did.
On the term, the 3-year term? Okay. Those software companies have typical phrasing and termination provisions that are not very friendly, but it's typical in the industry, unfortunately. Auditor contract requirements, that's been finalized. Worked with staff on that. Daniels Parkway, as Chelsea mentioned, there's resubmittal. The staff responses and to that are due the 29th of August so that it can be on the board meeting agenda September 18th. So we just received those. And again, it's a matter, we have the agreements pretty finalized, it's just the exhibits need to be finalized for those agreements. And that'll all be part of the package when we come back to the board, hopefully with a recommendation for approval with conditions. Those agreements will be part of it and finalized to get moving. On the quitclaim deed, that was prepared and finalized, and we also have, and I appreciate Chelsea's assistance on this, a quitclaim assignment of the dedication for landscape and monument signs at the entrance, and they'll come down to the board at the next board meeting, because we'd like to have that in the minutes so that people go back in time and say, when did you accept this? We'll say, here it is. So there's no question as to the acceptance by the district. So that'll take care of that issue. Stony Brook roads and streets. The reason I'm saying, I know, Chelsea wants to hide. We've had this with the 99.99999 percentage part. And we had one little,
At the last meeting.
I was like,
No, I think we got-
998
yeah,
last
no, it was
meeting.
99.9. I didn't go
Then
to
they
all the
read the
way.
contract.
But we had one, we had finalized final comments, we believe, from counsel for US Home. And emails going back and forth today. I've not had a chance to really look at those yet, but it should resolve the final issue and get that darn thing signed. So I think we are at that point. There was some language in the deed that US
So in a
Home.
word, we're close.
Oh, we're very, very close.
Closer than we were last time.
No, we are. It's
Almost there.
0.05%.
It's been an interesting exercise. And
Yes.
Chelsea's been, yeah, yes, but we're almost there. So I appreciate that.
So you're saying before the end of this month?
The
This
idea is
being
to get this thing
August of
signed up.
2025?
I'd like to have it signed tomorrow if possible. The Stony Brook has the authorization, their board to sign it. We've already, the chairman, Flavia, has already signed it on behalf of the district, the chair. We're just waiting for that final exhibit, which would be the form of the quitclaim deed, to have language reviewed and approved by everybody to attach that. That'll be the document, and US Home will sign it. So,
If it happens, can you send us an email?
yes.
You'll hear me jumping from joy from my
Just gonna
office.
be doing a happy dance in our offices.
Yeah, that's the first happy dance. The second happy dance is when everything's dispersed.
Yeah.
Comes out of escrow, the deeds go here and there, and we're all good. On the Santa Luz drain downspouts, we set a deadline, I sent follow-up demand letters noted to the council for Santa Luz with requesting a deadline of the 15th, last Friday. We received one today with proposals for a resolution of the matter. I've not, since it came in so late, I did not have a chance to review it yet. Chelsea has it also. We're having a staff call tomorrow at 2 o'clock to review it and make a recommendation as to our response back to them. And hopefully we'll have this on the board meeting in September. Which board meeting would that be?
Second.
The
The first meeting.
Yeah, the first meeting in September. But we.
September 4th.
September 4th. But we did have, again, I have not had a chance to review it yet. But we had some response, and it seems like reasonably positive, which is good. We talked about the amended restated assessment methodology. We don't have, I still haven't received word from anybody about getting Russ's deposition in the other case. So that's the Sunshine Law PowerPoint.
Was there anything happening there or nothing?
Oh, that case has been resolved, yes.
The amended and restated?
Oh, no. I'm talking about the case that was referenced by Ms. Kalinsky as far as Russ's deposition. That case has been settled with the other entity. On the,
And you've had no further correspondence with the other attorney?
other than what we received today, that Chelsea forwarded to you, we have hard
did.
copies where she,
It came from me.
again, objected to the methodology, et cetera. We have hard copies to hand out to the board since it came in so late. It came in.
Oh, so we haven't seen that yet.
I forwarded it to you guys when I got it this
But it came
morning.
in
It's in your
relatively
district email. I know you don't check it.
I don't check that.
It came in, I forgot what time, but it was right around
It was-
noon.
Yeah, it was this afternoon.
Early afternoon.
Yeah, so
We'll read it as part of the record, as part
it
of.
came in,
public
in fact, it came in,
11:30.
let's see here,
I called,
11:16 this morning.
yeah, it was about 11:15.
So we have copies for the board. They can read it during the recess between now and the budget hearing. With regards to the reimbursement for damages to flowway, I provided documents to the attorney for the gentleman, I'll call him, and advised that the board is looking to be fully compensated for $15,000. He said he would get a response back to me by today. I don't have a response back yet. So I'll have it on the next agenda again as to what we recommend the board to do.
Just the truck driver.
Yes.
Okay.
I've had conversations with the assistant state attorney and also conversation briefly with the defense counsel. So hopefully they'll recognize what needs to be done. On the Zenner demand letter and warranties, we, working with the staff on August 14th, sent a demand letter out to Zenner to honor their warranties. And then the district received some responses back that not totally happy with. So we've been working on a further response letter that should go out today. I made some comments while waiting for the board meeting to start. The SharePoint, I'm not the best at.
I'm going to teach you in this too.
It won't work. But anyways, thank you. The easements for aerators, Pelican Reserve, I sent some materials, or Ed Hedges, who's been working on it, provided some materials. Some condominium documents have on the condominium plats, easements that are in favor of for utilities over open areas, basically common areas. So that helps on one of the aerators at least, and I'll work with Ed Hedges. He sent an email today. I'll work with Ed, set up a call with him to go over the other condominium documents to see if they have similar language and references on the condominium plats to utility easements, which means we wouldn't have to chase the individual condo associations for easements. We're hoping that will be the case in all instances. The easement for Girl Scout lift station, I just received the title work on that, so I will get that to Chelsea. I've drafted the easement and just making sure we have the proper title work, no encumbrances of record, and hopefully that can be ready for the next board meeting to get that squared away. Storage tank, again, storage tank still waiting for Lee County. Chamberlain lawsuit, I've heard nothing further. On the Tetra Tech contracts, we're going to be working with Chelsea, addendums to any TSAs, task author or TAs, to include those requirements, and Chelsea's already talked to Danny about that, and that is acceptable to Danny. Gateway Greens Master Association and transfer, I received an email from Mark Adamczyk yesterday, everything's good to go. I didn't have a chance to reread it yet because I was in meetings most of yesterday, so hopefully we can record that next week and get all that done. The signed parcels, I've not heard anything back yet from.
I just get a proposal today.
I'm sorry?
I did get a proposal
okay.
today from a commercial broker to present to the board in PPAC at their next meeting.
And that's all I have, unless the board has any questions of any matters.
I have none.
Nothing.
Thank you.
Just a general question. Our pilot project on the water meters, how's that going?
I was going to ask that question.
Yep, it's going good. All of the pilot meters are in place. At this point, we're just kind of monitoring.
Not only the black boxes, but the green things that go in the black boxes?
Yes.
Okay.
So right now we are just letting them do their thing. We have, out of the 3 vendors, one of the vendors has had to come out a couple times and replace some meters. All of these things we're taking into account in evaluating meters. We are evaluating as part of the pilot period, which it'll be 9 months from July. If we need to make that shorter because there's an apparent issue or, apparent winner.
Somebody fails.
Yeah, we will consider that. One of the things that, as part of this whole Zenner discussion that we've had with warranties and sending equipment and the time delays and receiving it back, we're manually reading half of our system, and our warranties, half of our system.
Our legacy system.
Yes. And considering our warranty amount, we will have to pay 30% out of pocket starting 1/1/2026.
As to those meters installed under the original project agreement.
Yes.
We start running into the fraction deal.
Yes.
And it accelerates quickly.
So we're having some internal discussions with staff about cost benefits, things like that. We're manually reading half of our system. But the pilot project is going well. We do have meetings with Arcadis every 2 weeks. We have the evaluation criteria, which as we go through, like when they came and installed the meters, each vendor had a work order management system. So we're evaluating that and, what did we like, what didn't we like, things like that. So it's going well.
We might have to accelerate that 9-month period.
Yeah, we're talking internally here in a couple weeks, so.
If we're running into those kind of numbers where what is that, half is 4,000 meters? That's ridiculous.
Takes 3 to 4 weeks for our staff.
And how many pilots do we have on each?
We have 103 per vendor.
103, so 309.
About 300 and some.
Because I just can't remember, they're different
Areas.
as far as product, different meters.
3 different, they're all the same.
All the same meters.
Ultrasonic meter, like that type of meter, but 3 different suppliers.
So when you said we had some that we returned back, we should go through a return with all 3 vendors so we can test.
Yep. We're doing
return. And so part of that is, I'm sure we're monitoring all the performance, but we should go through all the different things that we would we would experience during
Normal.
a post
Yeah.
and make sure that we're testing each one. And
Were you in my call? With
so you already talked about?
Yeah, we
I'm
talked
sure
about.
I'm sure you already addressed these, and
We
I'm kind of
talked
speaking
about-
out loud. but-
Well, we talked two different things. We talked about doing a standard, like a warranty claim, going through it, even if the meter's not bad, just to see what the process is and what their turnaround time is. But then also sending a handful of meters off of each vendor to get them tested for accuracy and see and get feedback from a third-party vendor. So we do have all of that in the works in the coming months.
So let's just fast forward to post installation in the new environment. If something goes wrong, if there's an emergency or a failure, do you perceive that being a vendor responsibility or a staff responsibility? Or does it depend?
It really depends on the situation. I mean, because it could be a homeowner issue, but if it's a mechanical failure, it would be staff engaging with the supplier and going through the warranty process.
Warranty is one thing, but I'm talking about if there is a failure or a problem that's, let's say, a tier 1 issue that has to be addressed. I would love to see, or I'm sure you probably thought about this as well, but what's the escalation process? Who manages it? What is the turnaround time? So like there's critical times where timing is of the essence and there's a failure or something that goes wrong.
Well, typically, I mean, in a perfect environment, we would have stock sitting on our shelf and we could go triage it ourselves and then send
So
the
there
bad
would
one
be,
off.
there would be, for most cases,
We've
we
done
would
for the
manage
last 9
internally.
years.
Yeah, so in most cases, we would triage internally and manage internally. Okay, yeah.
When we reach the end of the trial, are 204 going to come out and we'll have uniformity in the entire community?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The ones that are in are all sending the signals back here and we're reading them.
Well, they're all cellular.
Oh, okay, they're all cellular.
Yes.
Okay. And there hasn't been an issue with that.
As of today, no.
Great.
And there are not, to my knowledge, there are no other cellular meter companies, LCU, Cape Coral. I think we're going to be one of the first to kind of go into that market, but that's not, bigger cities are doing this already. And rural cities, rural counties are doing it because it takes them an hour to get to, go read. So this is not new to the nation, it's new to the county.
So we're 9 months in?
No, we are like 3 months in.
3 months in, right, okay. So another thing is, not that I want it to happen, but an adverse event would also be another
Why we chose hurricane season.
good test.
What do you want, a hurricane?
No, but I do want to test our meters thoroughly.
You want a 1 or a 2, nothing more. Okay.
Scuba gear.
Go fill your water meter
what
box
I'm
with
thinking.
water.
All right, so
Yeah,
then,
boy, so that could possibly happen. So.
Or ants like
future
Ed
board
wants to.
business, agenda management, anything?
The
any other
only,
questions?
the only thing is I'm, like we do every year, I'm kindly requesting that we cancel the second September meeting. The month of September, we do our annual reviews for staff. And it's year end, so Laura's trying to wrap up purchase orders and we're trying to wrap up projects.
Budget loaded
That's
in.
the 18th,
Yes.
cancel the 18th meeting.
That is,
Would it make any difference if we canceled the 4th? Because I'm not going to be here for the 4th.
The 18th is
All other
more
things
helpful
being
for
equal,
me,
still gives you a
but-
couple of weeks.
that's,
I probably won't be here on the 18th, because I may leave on the 19th or the 18th, I'm not sure.
I think
What
as of
month are
right
you talking
now, Bob,
September.
I mean, we might have 1 or 2 items. There's nothing really pressing, Tony, unless we have any
No,
settlement
because
things.
from the standpoint of the agreement for the Stony Brook roads,
I was gonna
everything,
say Stony
it's in
Brook,
substantially
that'd be the
final
only one.
form. It's just a matter of making those last little minute tweaks. That's all ready to go.
And all I'm saying is if you're going to get 2 weeks, could you make the 2 weeks the first 2 weeks? Not have a meeting on the 4th, but have it on the 18th? So I won't be here the 4th, then I won't be here the 18th either.
Honestly, at this point, I would just look to cancel both because we only have a
Cancel both.
a couple.
I would suggest just out of an abundance of caution in case something comes up,
Cancel one and
is
then
to keep
cancel
both
the other.
right now, and you can always cancel any time before the 4th. Like a week beforehand, you can put a blast out.
4th of what?
September.
September.
It's 2 weeks from today. I mean,
Yeah, I think it would,
I'll move to cancel the meeting on September 4th.
I'll second.
So we're going to have the
I
one
won't
on the
be here I
18th.
won't be
Just
here on the
schedule it. If we
18th.
don't have it, we
Schedule
don't have
it.
it. Yeah. Have one meeting scheduled, the 18th, as Carol just proposed, and if we don't need it, then we cancel it. That makes sense?
Yeah,
I'll be here for both too, so.
Chelsea, the Daniels Parkway though, they went,
I mean, we have to provide comments back. It's at our rate. I mean, they've waited a year to
Okay.
submit.
4 days, the 18th.
I'm fine.
I'm fine with that. So there's a motion, I'll call for a vote. There's a motion by
Cancel the
Carol,
4th.
a second by Bob. All in favor of canceling the September 4th meeting, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, there we go.
September
So
4th cancel.
one thing that we might want to put on the agenda management is, as part of the budgeting process, we did identify some potential projects. So I think we should be putting those projects on our agenda management list. That way we can.
I was planning on taking all of those projects that we tabled and making that as your next workshop, since I didn't have anything scheduled on your workshop. So we can do the workshop, we can have a workshop and the regular meeting on the 18th.
Yep.
And if we need to cancel, we can cancel, but your next workshop, that was my plan to put
Okay,
those.
so that's possible, but what I would probably prefer, well, we can do it one or two ways. If the workshop is your purpose for us to have more conversation, because at some point there needs to be a, like a predefined phase where staff goes in and they kind of scope, and then they would bring it back and say, okay, here's the project, here's a preliminary assessment or predefined. Is this something that you still want to move forward on? So, instead of, before we approve a project or the components, there needs to be some due diligence.
I was hoping my thought was to give you all the list of the projects that we kind of tabled or pushed to the side, and us talk about the priorities of those, and then
Scope.
and then coming back to you with the due diligence.
Yep, that sounds reasonable.
And was pond aeration going to be one of the workshops in September, as my memory says?
No, we had it scheduled, where's it at? Aeration discussion workshop is on January 15th.
Oh, not till January, okay.
Yeah, we had to
Alright.
do some due diligence on it still, so.
And we were also going to have the Sherman Soccer Complex as an entity, the whole thing, and different projections on that, different ideas about what we could do,
Cost,
not could
funding,
do.
the-
All of that was going to kind of tie into this broader conversation that I was hoping to have at your next workshop.
Okay, that's fine.
I almost think that is a work stream that comes off a much larger Parks, Recs, amenity work stream.
The majority of the deferred capital projects are Parks and Rec related, so I'm hoping naturally it'll come. And then if we need to one-off and have Sherman Soccer Complex as one, whatever, Fun Park as one, Ponds as one, we can do that. So I will pencil in a workshop for the 18th as well.
Okay.
For at 2 o'clock.
18, 2 and 3.
Yes.
When we do those workshops and those preliminary, let's make sure that we've got all the cost data current, and maybe even probably the last 5 years historical,
You're talking revenue expenditures? Okay.
I'm talking, both any capital O&M, whether it's aeration or if it's the field maintenance costs, because that'll help us understand, one, like what's our purpose? Like, improve, yes, but there has to be much more consideration when it comes to cost, impact, benefit.
What are we subsidizing? What are we, yep, got it. Okay. That is all I had for agenda management.
All right, so can we go ahead and move supervisor comments now?
Sure. At the last time we had talked about, Tony, about putting paths across vacant property in the entire district to link all the district together so people could walk and whatever, not only over by Pelican, but also in Gateway here also. Have you done any more research on that? Do you have any ideas as to how we could do that?
I haven't done any more research, and then to the extent that there is existing right-of-way, like the county or existing easements in favor of the district, we could always just go ahead and do that. of course, would require development orders from Lee County, and perhaps Lee County would even allow that to happen in their right of way. But otherwise, you're going to have to ask the property owners for easements to put those sidewalks in if it's on their property and not in any existing easements.
Is an example for Gateway, like the linear park, being able to connect?
I was thinking about from housing development to other things.
Well, give me an example of.
Like C5 to the Winn-Dixie parcel, right?
Yes, that's the one that.
I think Pelican
would-
was the primary conversation on that. I'm just trying to think
Yeah, 'cause
how,
on
in Gateway.
I would think there are other areas here in Gateway.
I don't think there's any way to connect Pelican and Gateway.
There is,
Huh?
there is, but
I hit links
How?
at the end.
Oh, you
Yeah.
get to
it's in
Pistoia,
Pareto,
yeah, Pistoia, Pareto,
yeah,
over
cut,
to,
cut over to the boulevard.
Arborwood, or the.
Yeah.
In the future.
There-
Stuff
There's,
like that.
there's opportunities, but the one that we had talked about, we've done some homework on.
Uh-huh.
We're waiting on, I reached out to the engineer, the city engineer, last week, and I'm still waiting to hear back, but, I mean, we could always move forward with our small portion of the project to, get that going, but, I don't know if the city would be open to spending that money and without the developer.
The hope was to put a lien on the property,
Right.
since whoever owns the property is responsible for the cost of the future. So if we just open that multimodal path right now, complete it from C5 to Winn-Dixie, that would benefit a lot of our residents. And if there's a way to do it and not incur the cost internally, we'd like to do that.
I don't
I
see.
don't see that possible, no.
Yeah. But I'm waiting to hear back from the city still, so.
The two parcels, are they owned by Lennar?
No, it's owned by a private developer.
I think the Cameron folks, isn't it?
Cameron, yeah,
Cameron Partners, I believe. I think.
Teak.
So a conversation with them could be appropriate. You're going to have to pay for this sooner or later. Can you do it sooner?
We can track them down. We can always ask.
Yeah, I think out of Naples, if I'm not mistaken, but,
Call them up, your neighbors.
okay.
So are we good, are we putting that on Tony's list then?
Yes,
To
yeah.
research further?
Contact owner and just see about their appetite for doing it.
So maybe in about 2 months, we could have, or either put that on your lawyer list of things to do, or let's have an update on that in a
Okay.
couple
If I get a
months.
The agenda management.
And
Yeah.
if I get a response from the city, I'll be sure to bring it to the next meeting.
That's a-
Yeah, I got three. First of all, did anybody get over to meet with LCSO and Lieutenant Vaughn?
I did not.
I went over there for an hour and a half with my access control director, and that is one hell of an operation that they've got. Unbelievable, unbelievable. So any doubts I had and the benefits of that, of what it can provide for us, I'm all for it. Although I did learn one thing, they are not going to give anybody any information about anybody that they have. But I found out that you can hire companies to go and get that very information that they're denying you.
So they
I
won't give it
didn't know that.
to you directly, but they'll give it to a third party.
Yes,
Because they sell the information.
yeah.
I just, okay.
So if you've got a guy
I'll
that's,
let you chime on this, I'm changing my mind.
if you have somebody that did something, let's say, wrong in your community and they get $100 fine, and you got to pay a guy $250 to go find out who it is, I don't think I'm going to chase that goose very often. That's just not going to be advantageous. But if you have a property damage or something serious, there is a way to get the information. So, but the whole thing was, it was immensely impressive. They've got a 4-foot by 4-foot TV monitor or GPS screen that you can shrink that down, and I could read a newspaper on my back lanai. It's scary how, you watch some of these movies and you have the big dad looking at you. It's over there on that sheet. So it was impressive.
Yeah,
but
we
it's
should
still-
see his budget for giving green.
Still ain't
this
worth
year.
$40,000 to me.
Okay, that's all you have? We have
Well,
some
no,
more?
I
All
got,
right.
the next one is the
Oh,
FP.
so, Ed, what about an independent party? Let's say a couple is going through a divorce and one of the parties wants to find out where the husband's been going, and can they?
This is
can
a
an-
license plate
No, can an
reader
attorney
only.
go in and ask for
No,
records?
no, I don't
for-
think it's an attorney. The way they
I
talked,
think
it was
it's
a
only the
certain
person
vendor.
that's, yeah, it's only the access control vendor or the person that that it's paying for it.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know the answer.
I
but
didn't know
the
that
way
it,
I
I
understood,
didn't
it's
even know
not
that it existed, that a party was there that you could go and get that very information that
Private
they don't give you,
investigator.
but they can.
Private
Anyway.
A
investigator.
private investigator could?
The next one, FPL easement between Gateway Greens and Stony Brook on the left-hand side is beginning to look like a jungle. Who's the contractor mowing that?
We do. We mow it internally.
It
They've
hadn't been
been-
mowed since Christ was a child.
That's not true. They're moving up the FPL easement and they're
It's
getting.
4 feet high.
I know, they're getting there.
It looks horrible.
Price
We
died at
saved-
33.
Huh?
Price died at 33.
Yeah, so that means that's how long ago it was. I mean, you go up there, it looks horrible.
It's on their list
Okay,
to mow.
good. And then the last one was, did we get an official, because our HOA is doing the same thing right now, budgeting. And the issue is FPL costs. I've got a board member that's telling me that the FPL rate increase is minimal.
We just
Yeah,
got notice
they dropped it.
yesterday.
Very significant cut to what they were projecting, yeah.
2%, 2.5%.
Last
I didn't
I
see a
heard was
percent.
it was going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 10.
Yeah,
Now I'm hearing it's down to half of that. Have you guys heard anything?
We just,
Didn't get a percent, they gave us a dollar amount, so.
What's
They,
it-
what's like the
it
total,
equate to?
they said the total they asked for was this, and it's only gonna be
I read
this.
4% someplace, but
Yeah, I budgeted enough to cover that, so.
I heard what, I put in my budget over at the community at 10%. And then I was challenged today that people were being told that it was half. And I said, okay, where are you getting that from?
I didn't see half, maybe 3/4, but not half.
So that's all I have.
And then just looking at this agenda, I don't see where we have an agenda item to officially adopt the budget after the public hearing, and we've closed the public hearing. Can we add an
Well,
agenda
that's-
item?
I think that's A.
it's 15A. It's 15A.
15A adopts the
I thought that was
budget.
to open the public hearing, and
No, it's to
There
adopting.
are two public hearings.
The last line says adopting the FY 25-26 budget.
okay. So you're going to do A before B?
Yes. You have to adopt the budget first to find out how much money you're going to spend and what revenues you need. And then you adopt the assessments and levy the assessments to fund the budget that you've adopted.
It's always like that, Carol.
Okay. So the public hearing is completely separate.
There are two public hearings. One is to consider and hear comments on objections to the budget. The board adopts the budget by resolution. The second public hearing is to consider the levying and imposition of special assessments to
Okay.
fund the district's
But
budget.
don't you have to open the public hearing, have the public hearing, close the public
Yes.
hearing, and then have an official vote?
No, yeah, on the budget, yes. And then you do the same thing for the assessments. Yes.
Okay.
Believe me,
I guess I
Tony,
would've-
Tony will guide us through
Well,
it.
Chelsea and I will
Okay.
do that.
All right.
No, Chelsea and I will do that, yes.
Well, just the Lee County thing. I mean, I'm sure it's razzle dazzle and wonderful, but it doesn't gain anything to our individual residents. I mean, now, if I want to know that my husband, my wife, whatever is leaving the community, yeah, we've got cameras in Pelican, so we don't need this. So if there's a monthly rental, I would propose, if you guys want to continue over here, I don't want to pay for that because it doesn't do a thing for our residents.
Well, I just have two things. I asked Vaughn for just two data. What was the budget for next year for Lee County Sheriff's Office to install the cameras? Because they have a budget for that. And I was able during the last meeting to pull it up that they had $260,000 set aside for 2025, 2024. So that was one question that I never got an answer for. And I just follow up with him now. And then he pretty much told me to have a records request. And I really felt like, thank you for telling me now. So that's going to tell you how I'm going to decide on this. Second question I had is, I want to know what the locations are of those cameras are, because that's something that we can find out. Because if we're paying Lee County, if we're paying our taxes and all those cameras are being allocated on zip code 33901, then there is no need here. You know, I just need to know what they are. And 2 years ago, when they started with this, it was $260,000. It's $250,000. So I don't know why they're so hesitant in telling us the dollar amount that they have set aside for this, and if they truly don't feel like they need to add anything here, then why should we?
It's a bait and switch. We're going to give you something for free. And all of a sudden, it's not free. Now, if they want to know where the vehicles are coming and if they're looking for a kidnapped car and all that kind of stuff, yeah, I could see that the camera system will trigger a response. But it doesn't do squat for a Gateway Greens resident.
And I think the final question we had was, from all those, how many did it actually went through, and I got an answer, this is what I got, nothing.
Hundreds of thousands of
Zero.
kits that they had, well, nobody
So I'm
can
very
respond to that,
disappointed
so I'm very
that I had to
reluctant.
follow up during the meeting
Yeah.
and say, hey, where's the data? Maybe I missed an email, so.
A lot of money for very little.
All right.
And I'm sure it is impressive, Ed. I can understand that entirely. But I don't want to pay for it.
And I think it's a very good tool for them.
For them,
I
but-
agree with that.
And they should pay for it.
That's
Because
right.
we already pay taxes.
So that's what I wanted to know. Now, if they came and say, look, I'm strapped on budget, and then this is all the money, I'm willing, and then
Okay,
maybe they can rethink of that. But just the way they went about, I really feel like they really they waited last minute. There is definitely a benefit. That is not what I'm arguing. I want to know how much money that I'm already paying for this, and why I'm not getting any benefit now, because we're getting the benefit because we are paying on the CDD. What is the benefit that I'm getting for all the money that I'm paying? I heard nothing, and now I literally was told 5 minutes ago, oh, it looks like you need to do a records request.
I will move to delete $40,000 from the 2026 budget in the line item that would cover the cameras from.
Do that
Do that
later.
during the budget meeting.
Yeah, we'll do that later.
Not right now.
Yeah, I think the good time is, we have a good discussion now would be at the budget hearing.
That's what,
And just on that piece, I think we're all in agreement, but is there any additional benefit that we could negotiate as far as like additional patrols, or is there, is there something to offset that, and that's just a hypothetical.
We had that, we
have
had the details, so I think it was a 40,
No, I think we reduced it to 25,000 just based on what we used.
But my point is, if we're paying for the cameras, is there another
Right.
indirect benefit
Anything.
that we could get as a result? Hey, we'll.
and
can
we
increase
budget and pay
patrol
extra
or-
money to the city of Fort Myers for the patrols because we can't get them for Lee County.
So,
And in fact, our Safety and Security Committee doubled the amount in their
40,000, I
budget.
think, yeah.
I think it was 20,000 a year, and we doubled it to 40,000.
And we never spend it because we can't get the cops. We
Well,
can budget it, but they won't
they've-
come.
They've been better
Okay.
lately.
yes, Doug. I mean,
When's it-
I look at Tony and I say, yes, Doug.
One thing I'm finding out, one of my other districts, because at the Sheriff's Department, manpower, schools back in session, the whole 9 yards, FWC and the Florida Highway Patrol also offer some services. So sometimes you can contract with them also. Once I get the information, I can
5 miles
provide
of a
that to you.
highway, 82 is considered, and then 75.
If you want to
how
later.
often, okay, is it my turn?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
How often are we doing
You're last 'cause you
road
came last.
assessments? Because I feel like, there's always, there's some issues on the road. Is staff evaluating that, or are we just waiting for, just any
Yeah,
roads,
Boulevard.
any of our roads within our gateway domain?
Safety and
County
security.
roads. I'm primarily talking about county
Because
roads.
Gateway Boulevard is starting to look horrible.
Yeah, I mean, that's my point. It's like, I feel like I'm constantly hitting a pothole, or there's some damage, and I understand the stipulations around the side and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like we need to do, at some point, we need to do a road assessment internally to identify, okay, here's road conditions, here's all the trouble areas, and supply that, or working in conjunction with DOT around
Find out what their
doing an
plan-
assessment.
Find out what their plan is.
Send
for
pictures to Cecil.
resurfacing.
I mean, so.
We do those all the time. I mean, I noticed a pothole forming in front of Timber Ridge the other day, and I put in an RFA, and then the president of Timber Ridge emailed and said, hey, and then I know within the last couple months, Mark's team has gone out and done some repairs that are our responsibility because of the oak trees. So I don't know if it's on a set schedule, but we are monitoring it.
One thing that, if we're not doing this now, we probably should, maybe once a quarter, we should set aside time with Cecil or someone, of that caliber to do a walkthrough, a couple things. Cecil, let's do a road evaluation, just so he can see, and if he has influence or if there's an opportunity for him to speak on our behalf, he's got firsthand knowledge and we're updating him. I almost feel like we should be updating key individuals on a quarterly basis of any items where there is either shared responsibility or some type of.
You've never lived in Michigan, because I think they're doing a phenomenal job of fixing the potholes. No sooner do I see it when it's gone. If you live in Michigan, you wait years.
Well, I don't live in Michigan. I've never
Until you
lived in
lose a
Michigan.
car,
I
then
live
you-
in Florida. So my standard
Well, I'm
is-
saying, I think
know
they're
what
really
you're
doing a
saying,
great
but-
job.
But my point is, let's do a road assessment. If we're doing it, great. If we're not regularly communicating with Cecil on these items or someone like that, then we should be doing that on a quarterly
We're
basis.
totally boring.
Feedback on the lights. Have you received any feedbacks on the
FPL
what
lights?
we've done? Yeah,
We've gotten a couple complaints just at their brightness and they needed shields. We have had one complaint because the light was replaced at the fun park. And of course, the abutting neighbors are like, why are you illuminating a park that's supposed to be closed at dark? Honestly, it's a safety concern. It is our property. We should have it illuminated. We have all of our other properties illuminated at night. But overall, I mean, I haven't heard any good things, but just the shields and the brightness is the only negative feedback I've received.
and then we have a phase 2 project, correct?
No, because it caught up. Fairway Lakes was the phase 2 part and it caught up.
But I thought we were doing.
Soccer Drive was done. They just told me last week that the parking lots is not feasible. So we're going to look into converting.
Wait a minute, what does that mean, not feasible?
It would cost us more to convert the parking lot lights to FPL in the long term.
Because the wiring and you have to, all the infrastructure stuff?
And they'd have to bore, we'd lose parking spots. So that's what I appreciate with Eric Colling is that relationship that he's like, Chelsea, you should not do this. So everything, Town Lakes is the only other one that we're contemplating putting lights there because that's the only other road that is missing these lights. But other than converting the parking lot lights here to LEDs, to brighter white LEDs, I think that's
So
it.
we'll just include lighting into
The discussion, the
into the
capital.
larger just park.
Yes.
Because we're going to have to talk about field lighting as well, so that becomes, and just since you're talking about that, from the park perspective, lighting options for the Commons Park, that, because that's net new, boring stuff, that, there's no issue there.
No,
right?
the only thing that has changed is we had originally contemplated going to FPL for the bollards, which are along the walkways. The monthly cost on those we could purchase them and install them for much more reasonably priced than we would pay monthly with FPL. So that,
Pedestrian walking around the paths.
yeah, but the parking lot lights, those are going in for FPL, but the bollards, we're contemplating owning those outright.
And if there was lighting for the amenities,
The court sports those are going to be we're going to own those as
we'll
well.
own those.
With the timers and things like that.
Yeah, all of those. Yeah.
Okay, that's all I got.
Right. I had one more thing then.
Yeah, does anybody driven down West Links Drive toward Daniels at about 2:10 every day?
Can you drive?
That is a disaster.
School's not in
And we're
session,
gonna get
yeah.
sued on this.
It's a parking
That
lot.
school, it's worse than a parking lot. If you're going out from Gateway Greens, leaving and exiting and trying to get onto Daniels, you cannot drive in your lane. You have to drive in the turn lane. Somebody's going to get killed out there. This has got to stop. They're even queuing now on Daniels Parkway.
I saw that today on the way in.
They're queuing out as many as 8-10 cars. And then on the road coming in from town on Daniels to turn into West Lakes, they're queuing in the turn lane. It's
So-
crazy.
This is where-
Board, FDOT, and Lee County Sheriff's Office, I can sign that for
But they
you.
won't do it.
Yeah.
That's it, that is the, but, so then.
They need to go
we
out there.
control
So this
what
is
we
a
can
great
control.
thing, like-
We control what we can control, so that's
They
tit
need
for
to,
tat.
they
That's where
need to
I'm
tell
going
the
at this point.
school there will be no more queuing. No more. If you're gonna queue on your property or no queuing. We'll just go out there and tell the people, keep moving. And let them run a circle and go all the way down to tree line, all the way up to 82, all the way back down and run back. By the time they get back, the kids should be able to get the.
I think this is what you're.
This is
speaking to.
ridiculous. It's dangerous.
If the county is looking for us to help enhance their capability through cameras and what we spend, then at least they should be maintaining the rule of law in our community on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I know.
There's a tit for tat there that's just not
It's
happening.
not happening, and I have never seen it so
Tony,
black and white as I have seen it today.
That road's ours. That's not the county's road.
That segment of West
We
Links?
didn't give that to them. Why can't we go out and just put signs that says no standing?
Tree line is one lane.
It's the enforcement.
Also,
This is.
Going
at
into
least a
that
tree line,
elementary
you've got a
school.
cop over there or
well,
two.
yeah, but they don't do anything
But you've got
to
two
stop them
lanes.
from queuing up.
But you got two lanes.
But you really only have one, Ed, because
We
one
only
is
have one
parked.
and it's now
Okay.
down to none.
So the only way that you may get enforcement, and I'm thinking
Law
at
enforcement.
100% you get 5, is if we pay for detail and have somebody over there, but we don't mandate.
Yeah, like a
tickets.
church does.
We don't mandate tickets, we mandate them to be there, and it's at their discretion, their leisure, and do
Why
whatever they
can't we
want.
go out on our road and put signs, no standing, no stopping?
We can put them out
We
there,
can
but
put
it's a
the
question of
signs out,
enforcement.
but who's gonna enforce it?
But then it becomes a question of enforcement, yes.
Like, we had them put it out like, what, 8 years
But
ago.
it's
Well, wait a minute,
it's put
I'm
out in
think-
front
I'm
of the fire
thinking-
station
I'm
and they don't
thinking,
do
I'm
it.
thinking of a word here, like leverage?
Well,
You've let your $40,000?
yeah.
Get
Well, we
us
want
this.
them to have the 40,000 regardless.
More.
I'm not gonna give them 40,000 to do that.
Well,
Right.
somebody, what I'm worried about is somebody getting out there and pulling out in one of those deals and hitting somebody, and guess who's gonna get sued? It's our road.
Because what happens as well,
Well,
not only
because-
is it traffic, but what happens quite a bit is kids getting in and out of those vehicles.
Oh,
when
yeah,
they're parked,
yeah,
And that's where the
you can't-
dangerous,
you can't-
that's what's
you're
really
little,
dangerous.
Yeah, I guess from the standpoint, if the concern is a line of sight, I'll call it, coming out of the intersecting roadways.
You can see nothing.
If, that's right, I mean, if you have the people who are standing in the road up to the next road
It's so
intersection,
sad.
then you can't see, that becomes.
There
a
is no line of sight.
So they're blocking the line of sight. They are actually, so I guess the question is, and we can look at it and work with Stephen too, from the standpoint of appropriate signage to put up in that area and just say no stopping, standing or parking, maintain,
We don't have signs there, because
to try to minimize liability.
because
That's all.
I know we installed, like 8 years ago, I know I had a hissy fit about the charter school, and I know installed the signs there.
The
That was
school, I
before you-
believe the
had the
charter
So we
school
had
put
the
them
si-
in,
We
No,
have the
we did.
signs, we have,
Shoemaker put
the elementary school.
Oh, okay, so.
we have the signs on the junior, senior high school, but not
None
on
of
the
that, so
elementary.
that's what I want to know, okay.
Yeah, so that's something I think might be worthwhile exploring to at least try to minimize liability, but the enforcement is with the sheriff's department.
We got the high school, the charter school, they hired,
They're not
They
as
all-
bad.
they
They're
both-
required to
they
have
hired
the
someone
two
come in
detail.
for a while last year, and they had someone out there, and
That's
it
part of
got
the
much
agreement.
better.
We have
That's
that
Well, I've
part
agreement.
of the
I've
agreement that we
driven it,
have.
and-
So
part-
detail, and they also they revamped their parking lot, the
Circulation system.
circulation, they just did it also for the high school here. So, it took a while, but they're doing it. But the elementary, it's
What-
just.
what
There's no
approach might-
police. I drove it all around. There are
None.
no police at the elementary school.
One
None.
approach might be to look at the DO for the elementary school, because they still need development orders. What does the site plan require in the form of parking and or traffic circulation?
Can you look at that? all of it?
Yeah,
'Cause I
we
think
can
it's really
retrieve that, or
important.
Chelsea, you want to have,
It's
Austin,
gotten,
anybody retrieve the
it's
DO?
gotten absolutely ridiculous. They come out of the school, come back up Commonwealth Drive, then they split, and there's a queue that goes to Daniels Parkway, and then there's a queue that comes up to Commerce Lakes Drive, and then that queue turns and heads toward Arborwood. It's insanity.
So when I was coming in today, there were probably 30 cars on Daniels Parkway facing
Oh, yeah,
west
yeah.
on the north side of Daniels Parkway
And
to
the
get.
police just look the other way.
Now, I will say, when we had conversations maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago with all of the schools in the school district, the elementary school, both elementary schools were the most responsive in trying to be proactive and work through it. Now, it's a new school year. We're we're on week 2. I would like to start with sending an email saying, hey, you need
We're gonna meet with
to,
the
high
you need to
schools-
maintain your traffic.
The high
Might have
school's
changed.
not that
I
bad.
would prefer that you just go meet with the principal, have someone from staff. The elementary school, they did engineering changes. I mean, they put forth an effort and some money was spent there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was significant.
I
But
don't want to push so much this elementary because if we all remember, they were willing to take care of the road to stop
Do a-
that.
a lane.
And we use their parking.
And we
I
told
mean,
them
there's-
no because we didn't want to just,
Utilities.
so we complained, they come with solution, they wanted to meet us halfway, we told them no, and then we tried to take over back and then it was too late, so. But I don't see as much problem here as I see it over there.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same charter school entity, Charter Schools USA,
It
or
is.
Red Apple, whatever it is,
Yeah.
is for all those schools. So it's the same board. They're a public board to their public meetings. They're required to. They have to operate in the sunshine.
Well, they haven't expanded the school. Where in the hell did all these cars come from? Did the buses just quit?
There
The
are issues
volume
with,
of
there are
traffic
issues
has
with
doubled
buses.
or tripled.
Yeah, 'cause again, one approach
Everybody
might
takes
be,
their own kids now.
Chelsea talked to the principal, but also you may want to end up trying to get on an agenda of the charter school board when they have their board meetings.
So when you block a road, and that's what they're doing, because they're scared to death of pulling off onto the grass. So they're putting their tires on both, so it's only a single lane. They completely block the one lane all the way from Commerce Lakes to Daniels.
I guess one of the questions might be also, to the extent you can get South Trail involved,
They
No,
were.
they're not gonna.
they won't get involved in blocking the road or.
Honestly,
Oh, they
No.
just-
Everybody
They
avoid-
said that
It's
if they
police.
need to
Everybody
push
just
through
avoids
it,
the
they're gonna
area.
push
It's a
through it.
police
That's
issue.
what they told.
When they're on the grass, aren't they destroying our sprinkler heads?
there's no
Well, they're on the
sprinklers. There's no
sprinkler head,
sprinklers
yeah.
over there.
Yeah. All right, are we good? So we can take some time?
Take a
between-
recess?
A recess until 5 o'clock?
Six.
Six? Oh.
What?
We could go to a movie.
I
Yeah.
told you.
Six.
Why are we starting at 6?
Because we went really fast.
They-
No.
It's been
They're
typical.
gonna get out of here late once in a while, we're going.
I think
And she told me lunch, and then I'm looking at chips, I'm like, I
No,
want
we got
chips.
sandwiches. We have sandwiches.
I think historically, and consistent with prior years in the budget assessment, especially when there's revisions to the methodology and possible increases, the board has conducted the budget public hearing at 6 o'clock.
It's
You
been
said
at-
it 2 months ago.
It's been at 6 o'clock as
He
long
got
as
here a
I've been
couple hours
here.
early.
He was worried about traffic and weather. All right, we'll take a recess until 6.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Tinkle.
Wash your hands.
It's gonna be tough because-
Are we still